Welcome to a new episode of Weisses Sofa, White Couch. As you can see, we are not on my typical white couch in Germany at home, but we do sit on very pretty white furniture. We are actually, I cannot even believe it myself, but we are in New York City on Broadway in this beautiful podcast studio, and we're recording a new episode here as well. Also, it's in English because today's guest can't speak German, which is totally fine. I'm here in New York City for work, actually, for a couple of weeks, but I figured, like, you know what, how fun would it be in my free time to just hang around with friends? There's plenty of stuff to do in New York City, but I don't want to do it alone all the time, you know. I want to make friends, and I was thinking, okay, how do I make friends? So I was looking online, and I thought, running clubs, should I join a running club? I hate running, but I was like, you know, if that's the only thing, how to make friends, why not do it? But luckily I came across a TikTok video of a girl probably being in like her bedroom or her apartment, whatever, just casually saying in the camera, if you're a girl in your 20s and you just moved to New York City, I've created this app, I'd like to invite you to those parties. And I was like, okay, I need to get that right now. And let me tell you, the app is called Kndrd, and I've had the time of my life here with this app. It really has enhanced my time so much. I had so much fun here. I've made great friends even though I was here for a very limited amount of time, but I still made great friends. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce today's guest. Please welcome friendship matchmaker and founder of Kndrd, Isabella Epstein.
Thank you so much for having me. This is the best day of my life, and I've always wanted to do something like this. And thank you for the kind words about how Kndrd has impacted you. It means a lot.
I'm so excited to sit down with you here. Like, honestly, like on Broadway, I haven't even imagined that when I came here. I was like, maybe I'll find someone who's very special. I can, like, not special, but like who really, when I meet this person, I'm like, okay, I have 1,000 questions in my head and I want to ask them many, many questions. So here we are. And Kndrd, as I said, it has really, like, I'm not saying it changed my life, but it really had a huge impact on my time here in New York City. Like, I saw it and I was like, okay, I need to download that. And I remember I was back in Germany, actually, and I downloaded, I tried to download it because you have to do like an application, right?
Yeah.
And it didn't work with my German phone number first. So I was like, oh my God, no, can I like not download it? So I had to wait until the day I actually came to the States to put my American phone number and then downloaded it. So in your own words, how would you describe Kndrd? What's Kndrd?
Yeah, so I think Kndrd is two things. It's an app, but beyond that, it's a community. What the app does is it enables women to make friends through shared experiences. But I think the vision behind it is that I believe that every woman deserves to feel like she belongs. And Kndrd is a vehicle to do that through cocktail parties, through pickleball, dinners, concerts, shows. But just the idea is that you never feel alone or you never feel lonely. So Kndrd is an app, but hopefully it's more than that too.
So it's a friendship app to make friends?
Yeah.
And it's for girls only?
Yes.
How come?
Because I think women deserve something just for them. But also because I think the dynamic is unique. Once you introduce men, for better or for worse, it complicates the dynamic. So when you go out to drinks with a group of girls, it's a unique experience that then changes once you have other people involved.
Are you like scared that, like, not scared, but are you like, okay, if there's men involved, they will like try to, I don't know,
turn into dating? Yeah, kind of.
Dating kind of way. No,
yeah.
I understand. Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
And why do you have to like do an application to be in? Because it gives like this feeling of like, oh, is it like Raya? Am I pretty enough? Am I smart enough? Am I rich enough? Whatever to be able to be part of this club.
No, so that's not the intention at all. But I think the most important thing for us is safety and security. And so we want to make sure that everybody here is here for the right reasons, and simultaneously that these are high quality individual. These are women who want to come to socialize. And at the end of the day, if you are for everybody, unfortunately, it ends up being for nobody. So we're trying to curate a community of young, smart, fun, ambitious, adventurous women that we feel will enjoy the company of one another.
So you hand select every single person that is...
So I manually review every application, yeah.
Oh my God, is that what you do all day?
And all night.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, among other things, but yeah.
So it's basically like you look at like how many girls are we talking about?
Tens of thousands.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Tens of thousands?
Lots of women, yeah.
That many people are using the app already?
Yeah.
That is phenomenal.
Thank you.
Like, I mean, obviously when I've been to like the cocktail party, they were like, you limit it down to, what was it, like 80-ish?
Yeah.
Kind of. I thought like maybe there's like 500 people using the app. But you say tens of thousands?
Yeah.
That's insane. I mean, you must
Well, it's funny you're saying that, because to me, I think I have a hard time really conceptualizing what that means. But I guess on the other hand, it's good. It still feels intimate and community oriented.
Totally. So, okay, so who would be someone that you wouldn't accept?
If you're not in New York. So right now we're just in New York. So that's another big thing is...
so there are people applying who
from
are
other
not,
cities.
Oh, okay.
Which is sad, but exciting. But it just doesn't work if there's not enough women in one place. So if you're not in New York, right now we're just women in their 20s and 30s. So if you're not in your 20s or 30s, also unfortunately, but coming soon.
Okay, so you're planning to...
Yeah, we do want to expand to other age groups. I just think that if you're younger, women who are older don't necessarily have as much in common, and vice versa. If you're older, you don't have as much in common with the younger women. So we stuck with 20s and 30s because I'm in my late 20s. So for now,
you can like relate to that better. No, I totally get that. So when you hand select everyone, it's kind of like a wrong word to say it, but like you review everything.
Yeah.
Is that like, how would a typical day of Isabella Epstein look like?
My typical day just switched, actually, because I just joined the 5 a.m. club, which is a new concept.
That's like waking up at 5 a.m. and doing like
I've done it
something?
before. Yeah, I've done it before, but I started doing it again, more so to take control of my personal life and have more time and peace and quiet. But I wake up, I work out, I read or journal, and then I just get right into work. Luckily for me, luckily or unluckily, work is at my desk, which is 5 feet away from my bed. So there's not really, I don't get ready, I don't put on an outfit. I usually just wear sweatpants. And then my time is split primarily between product. So I develop the product, which people may or may not realize is a constant work in progress.
So the product as in the app?
The app itself,
okay.
Yeah. So every day we're releasing new features and we're changing things and we're making tiny incremental changes to enhance
like what,
the experience.
For example?
Age filtering or location filtering.
To help you so you don't have to do everything yourself?
To help you, I guess, to help someone as a user.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so to make the experience of a user better. So that's all behind the scenes. People usually don't notice that. And yeah, which is good, hopefully. And then the other thing is marketing, growth, and curating the community, so reviewing applications.
Okay, I think we need to explain a little bit. So on this app, it's so different than like Bumble friendships or something I've ever seen before. It's like nothing I've ever seen before. And so basically, you know, you have like these hangouts where you like people can just create hangouts saying like, who wants to go out for a coffee walk with me, for example. And then people can like just jump in and just say like, oh yeah, you know what, I have time, I'd like to come to. So, but in that, usually I don't care if that's somebody who's, let's say, 23 or 29. So why is that important with the age filter? Okay,
so someone like you might not care. I also don't necessarily care. But we do have women in their 30s, and so women in their mid to late 30s don't necessarily want to hang out with someone who's 21 years old, just because they don't have that much in common at this stage.
Got it. So, okay, I'm very curious now. Where did it come from? Like, why did you decide to build a friendship app and also make it so different than like swiping and, okay, how do people look? Does the vibe match? Like, how did you come even up with the idea? Like, where did it come from?
So it's funny, similar and different from you. I moved to New York City in 2021, and I was really looking forward to meeting all these new people and doing all these fun things. But I wasn't having those experiences, so I was pretty unhappy, and I was, at the time, I didn't realize it, or I just wasn't willing to acknowledge and articulate that I was really lonely. And then that was a really hard time for me, because I think I had this vision. I watched Sex and the City. I watched Girls.
I did that.
Girl,
honestly, when I came here, first thing I did was watching Sex and the City.
That's sort of how I prepared for my time in New York, and that's what I anticipated would happen when I got here. And then it didn't, and I was like, holy shit, is there something wrong with me? Why isn't this working? So I tried everything. I tried Bumble BFF. I tried run clubs. I tried paying, to join Soho House and whatever. And those things weren't working. So then I was like, okay, I'm young. These are supposed to be the best years of my life, and I'm not willing to accept that they won't be. So I'm going to give it one last shot. So my last shot was to start approaching strangers on the street, which was probably, I call it my existential crisis turned awakening. At the time, I was really unhappy, and I was like, okay, get out of bed, figure out how to solve this problem for yourself.
So you would just talk to random people
and
say, hi, do you want to be my friend?
Well, I would start it off more casually. I'd be like, hey, I love your outfit. By the way, I just moved here. Do you want to hang out?
Oh my God.
Or what book are you reading? I love that book. And one conversation after another, first of all, people were so receptive to it, because we live in an age where you don't talk to strangers on the street, and especially in New York, don't look at me, don't talk to me. People were so stunned in a positive way, and then they started to confide in me their social frustrations. So they were like, oh my God, I can't believe you walked up to me. I haven't met a new person in ages, and I'm frustrated socially as well, So I would say to these people, okay, why don't you give me your phone number or your email? I'll organize something. So I started to get dopamine hits from those experiences, and then I kept doing it over and over. So I ended up doing it 1,000 times.
Literally 1,000 times.
And I had 1,000 emails and phone numbers, and then I started. Basically, the first version of Kndrd was an email text list where I would just message people and say, hey, does anybody want to hang out? Does anyone want to go play pickleball or come to dinner with me tonight? And people would show up, and that was when I realized, okay, maybe there's something here. So that was the beginning.
But there's something else I've read.
Of course.
You were featured in Business Insider, which is freaking insane. Let's say that.
Thank you.
So what happened? What I read here, I couldn't believe when I read that. I'm gonna read it out loud. So it was so Epstein built an entire spreadsheet of contact information for strangers she connected with, manually building out an email and text list that she'd use to blast out messages, like asking plans, like, okay, do you want to hang out, whatever. Yeah. She said at one point her phone number was flagged as spam and blocked from sending texts.
Yes, that was a very unfortunate situation for me. And
crazy.
It was hard. It was also hard to explain to my job. People were trying to reach out to me, and I was like, I can't answer you. Apple blocked me. Yes, that was pretty funny.
That's crazy.
But
also, why would you do 1,000 people? Why wouldn't you just be like, oh yeah, I found 10 perfect people. I'll continue hanging out with them, and then I don't care.
It was, first of all, it's nothing I've ever experienced before to have these kinds of conversations with people. And so it was over a course of several months. Basically, I did it, and I started getting addicted to meeting new people. And we live in New York City, and everybody here is from a different walk of life, from a different background, different cultures. And so I started one week, I did however many I did that one week, and then I added these people, and I started texting them, hey, do you want to come out this weekend or whatever? And then the next week I would just be like, okay, I'm walking on the street, this girl looks really cool, she's reading a book that I love, let me say hi. So it kind of just compounded over time.
But isn't it impossible to keep in contact with so many people?
Yes, but I didn't keep in contact with them individually. So the idea was I'm now starting basically a club. So once I had the first group of people, they were like, oh my God, this is so fun. anytime I interacted with somebody else, I would say, hey, I have this community. If you want to join, I'll invite you to these events.
Okay, makes sense. So, okay, so you contacted 1,000 people.
Yes.
You were,
which in retrospect
so crazy,
is crazy,
right?
yes. Which is I call it my existential crisis turned awakening, because it's a little weird
No,
what
but
I
it's
did.
so cool, because I think it was kind of like the prototype of Kndrd, as you just said. So how were the early steps then? Because I bet that you had like a normal job, right? You worked in like finance or something?
Yeah, I was an investment banker.
You were an investment banker. Okay. And then like part-time, like, or in your free time, you would be like, okay, I start creating this app to make friends.
I just became obsessed with it. And what happened was I started having these hangouts with my email text friend community, and people would say to me, Isabella, I wish I could do something like this, but I don't have the guts to go approach people on the street. I also don't have 1,000 people, you know? And so I started to think to myself, what if you could do something like this? What would that look like? Because what they wanted was the autonomy and
create their own
community
hangouts with
to
people.
create their own.
Yeah,
Totally. It's like maybe you love live music, so you want to go see a jazz show, or maybe you're a runner and I'm not. So like you want to like I'm not going to come to your run hangout, and I'm not going to propose it, but maybe you want to find people who do. So once I started hearing that over and over from people expressing the desire to be able to do something like this, I started thinking about how I would automate this process that I had created manually, which is effectively what the product is today, what the app does.
But how did you do it? I could never ever build an app, especially since you don't come like from a background of like.
So here's the thing: is I think you could do it if it were. I don't think I ever wanted. Frankly, I'm still not sure. I don't think I ever wanted to be a startup founder. I didn't want to build something. But when you have a problem that isn't being solved,
and that many other people face,
exactly. And it went from being sort of woe is me, like, am I the only person who feels this way, to having an epiphany where it was like, no, Isabella, you're not the only person who feels this way. This is something universal that other women your age are experiencing too. So it went from me wondering, am I the only one, to realizing I'm not, and then thinking about how I, Isabella, would want this problem to be solved. If there was a solution, and I tried other supposed or alternative solutions, those didn't work for me. So if there was a solution that would work for me, how would it look? What would it do? And then I just started drawing. I opened the notebook, I started drawing, I started writing down all my thoughts.
When was that? Like
probably 2022, 2023.
Okay.
And I was working, and
that's only like 2 years ago.
Yeah. And
oh my God.
I would be at work, and I was, the only thing I could think about was, how do young women make friends? And then I would, like, in my notes, as I'm, doing my job, write these things down, and then I would go home, and instead of going to bed, I would spend all night researching, reading, watching YouTube videos. It became an obsession.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
I bet. But then, like, when you actually started, like, doing a prototype, you were honestly, like, building the technical...
So that was probably the hardest part.
Because I bet that you faced difficulties. I mean...
Yes. And I think that's something that I had a lot of insecurities about at the beginning, because I'm not technical. I tried to be technical.
I couldn't do it either. Not at all.
I bought all these like online courses, how to code, blah, blah, blah. But eventually I realized that there are 1,000,001 things to do with a startup, as with anything, but specifically with a startup, there's 1,000,000 different pieces of the puzzle. And so I realized, okay, I need to focus on all the other pieces of the puzzle, because if I can't code and that's the only thing I'm focusing on is trying to learn how to do that, the rest of this thing is never going to get started. So basically what I did was I conceptually developed the product. So, Isabella, as a 20-something-year-old woman, how do you want this to work? I built the wireframes, I designed it, all those kinds of things. And it started on paper. And then you move to the computer. And granted, this is all pretty low fidelity because I'm not technical. So I did the best I could, and then thankfully I always say that some things I think are meant to be, and you don't always know that until they happen. And you can't, these aren't my words, but Steve Jobs, you can't connect the dots looking forward, but you can always connect them looking backwards. And so I was in a position where I was trying everything. I wanted this so badly. I wanted this app to exist for myself, but nobody wanted to work with me. Everybody thought this was stupid. Everybody thought that no one would use something like this.
Who said that?
Everybody. anybody that I would talk to, except for one person, Milo. And so Milo, my co-founder, actually found me after I had been, basically I did that. I got picked up by Business Insider, where they profiled me on my existential crisis moment.
They found you at your lowest point.
Yeah, I'm like, I wonder what my kids are going to say when they read that.
Oh, they're going to be proud.
Thank you. But Milo read that, and he reached out to me, and he said, I think what you're doing is incredible, and I would love to be a part of it. And so in that moment, I felt like everything had happened for a reason. Everybody said no to me. Everybody said this is dumb. Everybody said this will never work, because I was meant to meet him. So he wrote me an email, and then a few days later we had coffee. Actually, we had beer and pickles, but
even better.
But that was how we ended up getting the product rolling.
But like when everybody told you it's a bad idea, I can only imagine. I mean, if you're still having your job at like this investment banking and you do it like, in your free time.
I had already quit my job.
Oh, at that point you have
Which
already,
is even
I was
worse.
Say, because you quit at your job.
Yes.
I bet, like, what did people tell you? Because I bet, like,
crazy.
Your family and friends, what did they say?
So I think at the beginning, my family wanted to protect me because they probably knew better than I did how challenging this would be. And so my parents really tried to enlighten me to what I might be signing up for, but I didn't want to hear it. And so nobody ever said, as far as my family is concerned, nobody ever said no. They just said, really take a minute to think about what you're about to do. You are working on Wall Street. You are about to, give up all this safety and security.
And probably it was hard for you to get into Wall Street as well. Like, it's not something, let's just apply and then I'll just go there.
Yeah, and my mom is a Colombian immigrant and my dad is a high school dropout. So for all intents and purposes, I had made it. This is the American dream. And I think that was hard for me to process for a really long time because I didn't want to throw it away, which hopefully, God willing, this works. And then it wasn't all for nothing. But they were trying to really get me to understand what this is about to be like. And what they said was, we love you and we support you, but we can't really catch you if you fall. Like, you need to understand that. But they are my biggest supporters. My family and my friends, everybody has just really picked me up when I've been down, which is every day, if not every other day. It's often.
No,
not that often.
Why?
Not that often. I do think that was dramatic. It's hard. I think it's really hard. And when you care about something so much and you want it to work, it's easy to kind of feel like it's not sometimes.
But don't you see how people create the hangouts, people meet, people make friends, basically just everything you ever wanted? And is there a single person who ever told you that app isn't great? I cannot. No. I'm just saying.
No,
I could never imagine because it's beautiful.
Thank you. I think it's something that I, like most people, are probably trying to work through. It's a little bit of, insecurity complex or just fear sometimes. And I try not to lead with fear. And I think that's how we've gotten to where we are. But every now and then it creeps in.
No, I understand. But I feel like that this decision of quitting your job and then going full time into something that you don't even, that is so insecure. I can understand a little bit. I went to something like that as well in my life, so I do understand. And you know, also people telling me like that is the worst decision of your life, you know, and you will be so unhappy. But then eventually, if it works out and people see progress and success, they will say something like, oh yeah, it's something that you're meant to do, and I can see that it works out and whatever. But honestly, I think at the end of the day, when you said you were sitting at your job and just thinking about this app all day, every day, and that's like something that deep down to your heart, like you want to do, then you should do. And I see, and I think everybody else who has this app really sees that. We all appreciate how it looks like, how it works out, how it's so different from swiping, and how do people look like. I don't care, honestly. And I also don't care, for me it's a bit different because, you know, my time here was limited, but when I went out to these hangouts, and I knew that, you know, sometimes there were people where I was like, you know what, I will probably not see you again, but in this moment I have a great time, and that's the most important thing, because at least I'm not at home lonely, you know, and I have like FOMO. And then there's other people where I'm like, okay, I love you, and I think even though I'm going back to Germany, I'll probably see you again in my life, which is the greatest thing ever. Like I love international events, honestly, just saying, I think that's awesome. But like, you know what we always ask ourselves when we downloaded the app and everything, as beautiful as it is, there's no subscription, there's no ads, which I think is perfect for the user. But we, you know, and I also talk to other people like who use the app. How do you make money, and how can you live from it?
So right now we don't. No money, more problems. And I think that's part of the cost of building something like this, is we needed to prove that there's value here first. I think when I think about it, what I want more than anything is for Kndrd to bring people together and be as accessible as possible. Obviously, I need to eat. I need to have a roof over my head.
Pay your bills, of course.
And so our plan is that it will become a membership community. And what that means is that if you want unlimited access to these women and to these events and to this network, then you'll pay a nominal fee. And I think at the end of the day, it's almost in the same way that you are a member of whatever other networks that people are members of. I think this one is one that provides value. But we don't want to show you ads, or I don't, you know, me and Milo, we don't want to show you ads. I don't want to sell your data. I don't want you to become a product. I want you to have an experience that you pay a few bucks a month for, and that you're happy with, and you're making friends, and you're going out on the weekends, you're having new experiences. But we don't want to compromise that at all. So that's the next step, is bills and food. But yeah, right now, no money.
So right now it's just your savings from your old job?
Yeah.
Oh my God. So okay, that's crazy, because I think the first thing that people do think about when they launch a startup is like, okay, I want to make money, like fast, right, and like, because this is a great idea and everybody is going to love it. But I think it's the absolute right decision that you took to not make it like subscription based from the very beginning, because I think people need to know it first, and know, because if I would have had to pay money, I mean at this point I was so desperate. I knew like 3 people here in New York before, so I would have paid probably just to give it a chance, to give it a try. But I think in general people are like they need to know the product first. They need to know, oh yeah, I've heard about it, it's great, and you know, it worked for other people, so I'm gonna pay. But if you've never heard of that, I don't know if people would pay. So I totally understand how this is something that you weren't considering before. However, I've read in Business Insider as well that you did pitch to Stanford or something university.
Oh yes, so we've definitely put Kndrd out there, and so pitched at Stanford and won a competition there and got some grant money, which was phenomenal.
Amazing! Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you. And then from there, my savings, and then really absolutely blessed with some angels. So we didn't raise any institutional money, but a few founders, business people that I basically harassed online. I was like, hey, hey, I admire you. Hey, you wrote something that changed my life, and now this is what I'm doing. We've gotten some support from a few individuals as well.
So no like loan from a bank or something?
No.
That's strong.
Yeah.
Also. And I think it gives you a lot of freedom eventually, that you don't have to like have to pay it back. But since you say we put Kndrd out there, and we do, I mean, I know like when we were at your cocktail party that you did, and how you were like, okay, let's just really take a video together, because that's very important, so people know we're having fun and it's a cool thing. I'm just wondering, so you probably have to put everything you have into marketing as well, right? I mean, isn't that a very important thing for you?
Well, so meaning money. We don't spend money on marketing. Everything we have, yes, I put all my energy into it and my time and effort, but we are very conservative with spending because we don't have that many resources. So we don't market. We don't do ads. I have kind of had to become a personality for Kndrd, which is like, it's funny because I'm the least online person or like prior to this, like I don't really like social media. It's the antithesis of what I believe in. And for Kndrd, I've had to come out of my shell and be online and beg people to take videos and compromise my comfort in public sometimes. But it's worth it.
But how did it feel like for you in the beginning? If you're
horrible.
Because I couldn't do it ever, I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
You just, you say it so casually. I think in the beginning, I mean, you've probably done it 1,000 times now, but like in the very beginning, it must have felt very awkward for you, right? I mean.
Yeah, I hated it. But I also had no other choice. And so people like, Kndrd's not going to grow by itself. People aren't going to find out about it if I don't tell them about it. So that was the main motivation. I will say that as much as I hated putting myself out there publicly online at the beginning, it has actually benefited me tremendously. I think I'm more confident. I care less about what people think. Don't get me wrong.
That's very healthy.
Yeah. Like I still think it's weird. I take out my phone in public because I need to do some content. I still think it's a little weird conceptually that we live in a world where this is what we're doing, but I don't care anymore because that's the world we live in. And if I want a fighting chance, I need to step up to the plate. So I have noticed, and I actually reflected on it a while ago, I do think it benefited me in some ways.
In like what ways, for example?
I don't care what people think about me as much anymore. At the beginning of this, I was really insecure. I guess I had already gotten over the hump of approaching strangers on the street, but after that summer, I definitely kind of like, I was in shock and I was like, I can't believe I did that. And then I started, posting on social media and I was like, wait, talking to a human is a lot less intimidating than talking to a phone. And I think I believed in myself more because my message was resonating with people. And the only way you know if your message resonates with someone is if they have the opportunity to hear what you have to say. And so for me,
right,
social media, marketing, content, the vehicle that I've used to promote Kndrd is how I've primarily come to understand how desperately people want community and connection and feel a sense that it's lacking. So I think once I started to tell people, hey, I'm a woman in my 20s in New York City and I'd like to make friends, and then you have thousands of women saying to you online, oh my God, I would love to hang out, you start to realize, okay, I'm not the only one.
I think a lot of people also just don't, how do you say, they don't dare to go up to people, and because that takes a lot of like it's brave to do it. Like maybe I would do it at some point, but then if there's one time where people don't give it back to me, I'm never gonna do it again. So for you to always bring it back up and be like, okay, I'll do it again, that is so strong, so brave. And I bet it probably took you, I mean, your social batteries, are they never like empty?
I probably have a higher social battery than most people, but I do get tired. It definitely gets empty like any person, but I think the difference for me is that this is also what energizes me. So maybe I'm not going out on a Friday night. Maybe I need to take a night in and go to bed early. But it's also what brings me joy.
Totally.
I love meeting new people.
Totally. Yeah, me too. And just in the time you probably have a great time with them. You know,
It's
eventually
the best. Yeah.
it's so cool. You know, when my very first hangout at Kndrd, I was supposed to meet up with 4 girls, so 4 girls in total with me, so 3 other girls. Only one eventually showed up because one was one ghosted, one canceled last minute. But the third one who showed up, to be honest with you, I had a great time. We had so much fun. The night was young eventually. You know, we met great guys. We ended up at some other bar and some other bar, and I was like, holy, oh my God, I just came here last week and this is already what's happening. It's so cool. I honestly felt like I've been living here forever. So that was such a cool experience that I was, okay, I'm gonna do it again. The next day I was like, created a new hangout. I was like, okay, does anyone want to go to Ralph's Coffee with me and have a coffee? Does anyone want to go with me for a walk? And people showed up. It was just so cool. And I totally get that even in today's world, especially in today's world with like social media and everybody being online, it's so hard to make friends.
Yeah.
And for me, it was easier to make friends here in New York City than back at home in Germany, in the city where I come from.
That's crazy.
It's seriously, because something like that doesn't exist. You know, I totally agree with you that something like Bumble Friends, for me, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Because it's so judged on how do people look like.
Right.
Okay, is the vibe right? Does she have like a, I don't know, does she wear a purse I like or not? So it doesn't really, and I think it's the same with dating. And
I completely agree.
I think if something like that with the hangouts where you hang out with many people, maybe boys and girls together, it might be easier for, maybe there'll be a dating version at some point, you know?
Maybe.
But like, or at least where you mix boys and girls, where people are like, okay, something like dating could happen,
right,
so you know in advance. But I think that'd be great because you create these more natural surroundings, natural meetups, whatever, and so it's always easier. And it might be very strange and weird in the beginning when you meet with the people for the first time, but then eventually it's so like natural, and I don't know, I just love it. What you've created is seriously something I've never seen before. As I said, it's so cool, and I really sometimes I want to shake you and be like, don't you see that? I mean, especially when you come to the parties that you're doing as well. I think the fact that you put yourself there like full time, like we as users, we see that and we appreciate that. It's so cool. And I really hope that everybody who told you that's a dumb idea, don't do that, has changed their minds by now.
Well, I think I was going to say I hate to say this, but I don't hate to say this. Who's laughing now? I'm laughing. It's funny. So,
right.
I think in a lot of ways, adversity is important because if you want something, if you believe in it, you will stop at nothing for it. So I think that kind of lit the fire under my ass, and I was like, I'm going to prove you wrong.
I love that energy. So my very last question would be, what's next for Kndrd? Like how, because I wished we would have that in Germany. I think every single city, it would be great to have something like that.
What if I told you we're coming to Germany next?
Oh my God, I'd be so honored. That would be so cool. Honestly, I think people would use it. I mean, maybe the culture is a bit different with like meeting friends. And I personally, I do have a hard time at some point to make friends in Germany. And it's always easier for me to do that in like international ways. I feel like people are at some point more open-minded, but that's my personal opinion. I'm not saying that Germans are not open-minded. I'm not saying that. But are you expanding it? I mean, since you have so many, how many, like you say, you have tens of thousands of applications, but how many people are actually in the
community? So right now there are 10,000 women in New York City on Kndrd.
Oh my God. I want somebody to invest in you so you get more money and you can expand to every single city. And is that a plan?
Yeah, definitely. I think the other thing is that for now, our focus is on this community because we want this experience to be as good as possible for as many women in this one place. Luckily, New York has quite a few of them. So we have a few more to go here before expanding, and then we'll go to other cities in the U.S. and then hopefully around the world, maybe Germany first. But I think it's important for us to extract as much learnings from the New York community before we go elsewhere.
5 years from now, let's say 5 years, maybe 10 years. No, let's say 5 years. I think a lot can change. I mean, what you've just built in the last 2 to 3 years, that's amazing. If you could fast forward 5 years, where would you love Kndrd to be?
This might be ambitious, but in every city in the world.
Oh my God, we love that. We're manifesting.
Give me a call in 5 years.
And I'd love to see that. I think people will be incredibly grateful that you quit your job and put your entire energy into that, and I think you will get a lot of appreciation back, for real.
Well, I'm incredibly grateful that people have given it a chance, because I think at the end of the day, connection is a fundamental human need. We all want that. In the same way we want food, water, shelter. You need community. And so I, just as grateful as people may be that this exists, I'm grateful that people have given it an opportunity to exist. Because without them, then it's just a product. But because of them, it's a community. So
thank you so much, Isabella, for coming on my podcast.
Thank you for having
today. I'm so happy, really.
Me too. I thought this was literally the best day of my life. I can't wait for our next episode.
I mean, the fact that it's on Broadway, seriously. It's like in my head, I just started that like a couple of months ago, and to be sitting here and just to do that, let's do that, because I think it's cool. It's just the coolest thing ever for me.
You don't give up. Keep going. I can't wait until you have your own TV show. I'll be watching.
Let's manifest that. Thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you.